Hello guys, this is 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗦 and today we are here for a new tutorial about the else bar system and some fixes, especially for the Brown Think AI. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna create the else bar system and we're gonna fix the enemies at the end of the video. So go to game.pp, create a new folder and call it UI. Onto it, create a user interface widget blueprint. Click on user widget and call it WPP for widget blueprint underscore else bar. Open it, and now we're gonna create the else bar. So I got for you some UI. You can find it in the resources into the description, into the Google Drive. Let's go back into the widget blueprint. We're gonna create a size box. So here, search for size box and drag and drop into the name here or into the scene. This is gonna be our size of the widget into the world. So here into the right, we want to override the width and the height. So let's put 150 in both cases. But as you can see, nothing moved because we are here into fill screen. We want desired on screen. So now the box is good. Compile and save. And we're gonna now add an overlay because the size box can have only one children component. The overlay gonna be useful to have more than just one children. Now let's add a progress bar. Progress bar is better than a slider because this is more like a fill bar. After this, you can add a text block to put the player name or the tank name, for example, and add an image. Now let's put the image above all and the text above the progress bar. So it's like this. Now let's rename. Let's put it health icon. Here, let's call it name. And on the top right, check the is variable checkbox and call it health bar. Compile and save. And now we're gonna move it to make it prettier. Let's begin with the image. We want here into the image to reference our herd image. So click on it and click on use selected asset from 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗦 browser. Override the size and put 40 on X and Y. And now here, snap it into the middle vertically. This is great for now. Now let's go into the text. The text needs to be vertically aligned, but we don't want that it's above this. So let's first change the name like Think1 and put a padding of 45, for example, into the left. So it's not above the herd. Now let's add bottom like 50 because the progress bar gonna be like this. Now let's make italic. Let's add a shadow color with the alpha on 1. So it's prettier. Now let's go into the progress bar. The progress bar have to be aligned vertically, but fill horizontally. As you can see, it's above the earth because I make a mistake. The health bar have to be on the top of the list, like this. As you can see, it fixed. Now let's add some padding on the left and on the right, so it's centered. Let's add like 20 left and right. Let's add some bottom padding on the text, so it's not stepping. Now here, as you can see, you have background texture and fill texture. So let's select the background, put it on background image, and here draw as image. Now let's select the fill texture and into fill image. Let's do the same. As you can see, there is nothing because the percent here, which determine the health bar, was 10. So put like 0.7 to see what's up here. But as you can see, the fill bar is red, but here is blue. It's just because by default the fill color and opacity is blue. Let's put it into white, and then voila, it fixed the texture. Now another fix we have to do is that when we are at 1, it's okay, but when we are at 0.1 and less, it's not appearing. So we have to move the health bar more into the left. So let's add 30 or 35 into the left and only 5 into the right. So now when we are close to 0, we can see the health bar. You're not obligated to have the icon here. You can remove it. It's just for the aspect. And about the aspect, let's downscale it so we can upscale the health bar like this. So 25 into the left, 5 into the right, and the hertz 30 or 30. Compile and save, and now let's go into the graph. You can delete all this, and now we're gonna create function to update the health and update the name of the tank. So let's begin with the health bar. Drag and drop the health bar, get health bar, create a custom event, and call it update health bar. Here, we're gonna drag and drop the health bar and search for set percent. What we need to set a good percent, we need to divide the health by the health max to normalize the value. So it's between 0 and 1. So into the custom event, let's add two inputs, type of floats, health and health max. So drag and drop the health, divide by the health max, and put it into percent. Like this, we're gonna update good our health. Now let's create the update name, and here we want to add an input of type of string. Let's call it tank name. And now let's drag and drop the name variables and search for search text. Select the set text, so we can drag and drop like this, and voila. Now we are done with the health bar function. Let's just put the text more on the left, so like 30 on the left. Close the health bar. We're gonna go into the enemy tank master. Into the tank enemy master, we want to add the widget blueprint. So here into the components, click on add and search for widgets. Select the first one, widget, and call it health bar. Compile and save. And here into the right, we're gonna put some settings. First, select the widget class. Here, search for health. We're gonna see the WBP health bar. As you can see, it's really large because we want to draw a desired size. Check the box. So now, as you can see, it has the good size. Now, let's up into the Z and put it like 30. To be sure that the size is good, put the draw size on 150 as we did into the widget blueprint. Now, as you can see, when we rotate, the widget is not facing us, not billboarding. So click on it and search for space, and into the space, select screen. You can't see it, but now it's facing the screen. Now we need to update the variables. So at the begin play, here, after the live, we're gonna check if else bar is valid for security all the time. And if it's valid, we want to here get the widget, and with this widget, cast to health bar widget. Now here we can search for update health bar health, and here put life and life max. But we don't want that every time we want to update the health bar to do all these things. So we're gonna set into a variable the health bar here. So drag and drop and promote to variable. Here you can let this ref, but I'm gonna put health bar ref like this. So now when we put the variable, we can just get and here update the life bar. But again, it's too much. We want less nodes. So select all the nodes and the variables here and right click and collapse to function. Call it update health bar live. Now let's just drag like this, and if it's cast failed, we want to have the security of update color. Cast failed, gonna put like if the health bar is not here, don't create. And here, if it's not valid, put it here too. So now at the beginning, we are updating the health bar live, but we have also the name to update. So for the name, for now, we're just gonna take the tank type and put the enum to string here, like this, enum to string, and select the health bar ref and update health bar name here, like this. So now it's gonna update the name. Now let's put it into the event enemy damage to update the health bar system. But first, we're gonna create this as a function, create a custom event and call it this. Drag it like this, and we're gonna come back to this later on the video. This, the enemy damage, there into the enemy damage, here, if it's true, call the this. And now here, after the life update, we want to update the health bar life, like this. So now, by just calling this, it's gonna update the life with the life and the life max. Now, the enemies have the life bar. Let's do it for the player now. Go into the tank enemy player, go back into the tank enemy master, copy and paste health bar here, and paste it here too. So it's have the good health bar here. Now let's copy paste the update health bar life here and paste it to the function like this. But as you can see, we don't have the ref, the life, and the life max. So right click into the health bar ref, into the error here, and create health bar ref. Do the same for the life and the life max. Don't right click into the name. Right click in the red bar here or on the left, so you don't select the name like this. Compile and save. Now let's put the life on 100 and the life max on 100. Let's init the life at the begin play here. So at the beginning, the life is the life max like this. Now we want to set the ref variable as we did into the begin play here. So all of this you can copy and paste into the player. I'm gonna paste it here. So move this onto the left, paste like this, and after the health bar and here. So you have this. Now that we update the life bar at the begin play, we want to update into the enemy damage. But first, we have to do the same any damage system of the enemies. So let's go back again into the enemy and copy and paste the death and enemy damage. Go back into tank player, delete this, and now paste the two variables. As you can see, we have a fixed self-context function reference. Here, the death event doesn't exist. You can create machine function in blueprints, remove node, and do nothing. We just want to do nothing, we're gonna fix it ourselves. Confirm, and as you can see, death event is red. So if you compile and save, it's gonna tell us that it's not existing. So delete like this and call it again death. So now it's fixed. For the player, we don't want that the player just die. So here into the death, let's put do once. But for the player, we don't do destroy actor for now because it's gonna just bug the game. So delete the destroy actor and we're gonna fix it. First, let's add a do once at the beginning. So we are sure it just died one time. After this, we're gonna create a boolean called dead. So when he is dead, he can't move or even try to shoot like this. So set the dead boolean to true like this. After this, spawn the system at location. Let's add a spawn sound at location. Search for tank death. Here, let's get actor location. And after this, we want to set actor hidden in game. And here, let's drag for self. You cannot drag, it's gonna just take the self as a default, but to be sure, we want to get the self reference. Now check the new hidden and drag like this. Now we have our player death event for the moment. We want to get the enemy damage only if the player is not dead, so let's put a branch with the dead boolean and put false here, like this. So it's gonna do all these things only if the player is not already dead. Let's copy this branch and this boolean, and we're gonna paste in some places. Into the tank mine, drag the ln's input action here and into the left, and put the branch as we did. Make sure it's false. Connected here. Do exactly the same for the shoot. Do the same for the event tick, and again the same for the tank move. Now, when the player will be dead, he will not be able to move or do whatever. Now, we are close to finish. We just want to update the name. So let's create a variable of player name. this is gonna be reference later into the game mode when we create a game to have a leaderboard. Let's put string and let's put a default value of player. Here, drag and drop the player name, and you can go into the 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗧 here and copy paste again the update name function like this. As you can see, delete the comment and the enum to string and the enum and just put the string like this. Put it after the begin play like here and add it to the comments. And voila, we are done with the else bar system. So now when we try to play, there is the hash player. And now if a tank shoots to me, I'm dead and I can't even move and shoot. As you can see, they still continue to shoot because they don't have the information that I am dead. I'm just invisible for now and not really dead. Now we're gonna do some fixes. We have to fix the brown tank, so he has his own behavior, and some fixes like, as you can see if I play, the tank rotation movement. So to do this, close the tank player and go into the tank enemy master blueprint. Into the event tick, we want to get all the cannon mesh rotation nodes like this and collapse to function. Let's call this rotate cannon mesh. Now create a new tick, a new pin into the sequence. We're gonna here rotate the tank mesh. So let's create a function and call it rotate tank mesh. Let's call the function here and put it like this. Now into the mesh and the cannon mesh, we want to set absolute rotation into here. So when the tank is moving and the cannon is moving, there is no glitch because the world is independent. So let's click on world and now we can see there is absolute rotation. Do the same for the cannon mesh like this. As you can see, nothing changed and it's still working. Now go into the rotate tank mesh function. Here we want to set the world rotation of the mesh here, but as we did into the player, we want to reinterp, so it's rotating smoothly. Here we want to get world rotation of the mesh like this, but to be sure it's only rotating into the Z, let's right click here and split struct pin. Let's put the return value Z of the get world rotation into the current Z here. Into the delta time, get world delta second, and let's put interspeed of 5, for example. The target now will be a find lookat rotation of the velocity and the actor current location. So let's get the actor location, get the velocity, multiply it by 10, for example, and add the actor location with the velocity multiplied. Now get the actor location and find look at rotation. The target will be the velocity added to the actor location. So now we have our direction. Now let's split struct pin with this and put it into the target. But if you remember, the mesh have a rotation of 90. But if you remember, into the tank player, when we did rotate body towards movement, we added 90 into the Z because the mesh is not facing the arrow. It's my fault because of the import. But for now, we just continue to add 90 into the Z. We're gonna fix it when we're gonna add some color customization when we're gonna make the menu. But for now, let's add just 90 rotation. We're gonna fix it later. So into the tank enemy master, add 90 into the Z, put it into target, and now we want to have a threshold. We don't want to update the rotation all the time. We just want to make it if the tank is moving, because if there is no velocity, when the tank don't move, the rotation gonna go to 0 because no velocity, so 0. So here we want a branch, and we want to, if the velocity is greater than a value, for example, like 50, that is a low velocity, we want to make the world rotation, but only if it's greater. So here, let's get the greater and get the velocity length and get the vector length to get a float and put it here. If the vector length is greater than 50, let's set the world rotation. Now, we are done with the rotate tank mesh. If we try to go to the test, as you can see, the tank is rotating good and it's much prettier. Now guys, we're gonna fix the brown tank because as we seen in the last video, if I put a brown tank, you have the behavior tree of the enemy base. Our enemy base is just a behavior tree that we're gonna use by default for each tank because the H tank have like a default behavior for an enemy. But first, I just seen that we have a delay here. As we did into the precision scope, we have a precision rate. But here, we want to have a scope trace test speed. So we can line trace faster. For example, with the brown tank, which is not moving, it could be better to have a faster scope trace test speed. So now we have our variable. You will be able to scope trace speeder. Now we want to add another reference. The reference gonna be the behavior tree reference. It's gonna be of type behavior tree like this. Click on it, compile and save, and select the BT enemy base. So now when we go like into the tank enemy brown, we will be able to put the good behavior tree for each tank. But we just put the variable for now. We want to get it and set it at the good place. So first, we're gonna duplicate the BT enemy base. Let's call it BT enemy hash. So this is the hash comportment is exactly the same as the enemy base. Now, let's duplicate again the BT enemy base and call it BT enemy brown. Into the BT enemy brown, we will do the behavior tree of the brown tank later. Now, go into the BP tank hash and select BT enemy hash like this. Go into the BP tank brown and into the BT ref, put the BT enemy brown. Compile and save. Now we want to, into the AI controller, set the good run behavior tree. So we want to, into the AI controller, get the behavior tree of the tank enemy master. We could make a cast to enemy master, but I think if we have a lot of enemy, it will be laggy at the beginning. So we will use blueprint interface. So into the BP enemies folder, create a blueprint interface here. Let's call it BPI underscore get behavior tree. Into here, let's make a function name get enemy behavior tree. With this function, we want an output of type behavior tree. Let's call it BT enemy, BT of enemy. Let's close it for now. And now go into the tank enemy master. Here, into the class settings, we want to add a new interface implemented, as we did for the mine and the bullet count. So add behavior tree BPI and into the interface, double click on it and go search for the BT ref here, like this. So now, when we're gonna call the interface get enemy a behavior tree, we're gonna get the behavior tree. And it's much prettier to do this to cast something. You can like do this all the time. It's better than casting to the BP because casting is loading all the BP, but you don't want all the BP. So let's go back into the AIC, and here we can search for get behavior tree message. This gonna return the behavior tree, and if this is valid, we want to set the run behavior tree with these variables. So now we get the enemy behavior. If it's valid, we set it into the run behavior tree, so it will run the good behavior tree. The blackboard is not changing and the target ref is not changing because the blackboard gonna be the same for all the enemies because they want the, and So now let's just add some security. Here, if the branch is good, we want to set the value as object. And if it's not, we want to run a behavior tree base like this to be sure that the enemy will move like this. So now it will run the good behavior tree. So if we go to the behavior tree of enemy brown, uncheck this and try to play, as you can see, the brown tank is not moving. He's not doing anything, and I'm dead. So let's delete the enemy tank hash of the scene. So we just have the brown tank. And now let's modify the behavior tree of the enemy brown tank. You will see it's really simple. First of all, delete the retreat. You don't move, we don't want to retreat. Here, the check if have bullet, we want to rename it if check if can shoot. Now, let's delete the get line of sight, because we don't want to move to the destination to get a line of sight, because we don't move. So let's move it like this. Here, the have bullet unload, we will copy and paste here into the sequence. So we can erase this. Now, we don't want to strafe because we don't move. So delete. Delete the second weight and put the weight of 0.5. So now we are done with the enemy brown tank. I told you it will be really fast to do it. So now, if we play, if the brown tank can shoot us, it will shoot us. As you can see, I die instantly, so we're gonna create another projectile. So get the BP projectile normal, Ctrl D, so it duplicates, and let's call it projectile low. Go into it, and into the base damage, let's put 25. Let's make it not bouncing, so it's easier to test. Now, into the projectile mesh, we want to change the color, so it will be easier to understand. So go into the materials and call it bullet silver. Let's put the silver material into it. So now, into the tank brown, let's just put, for now, the BP projectile low. So now, if we try to shoot, it's hitting me, I take some damage, and he can kill me. If I play again, and I shoot to him, he dies instantly too. If we want to try the health bar of the enemies, we can go into the tank player, and into the projectile to shoot, let's put it low. So now, we can see the health bar is updating, and the brown tank is updated. And as you can see, I'm dead, I can't even shoot. But he still see me. So guys, I hope this video enjoyed you and you learned a lot. So thank you guys for looking at this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Like, there is 95% of people that watch my video and are not subscribed. So please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like, share the video, comment if you have some tips or want to share something with others. And you can join my Discord. I just created it, so you will find it into the description. Into the description, guys, you will find my Patreon too, so you can subscribe for a low cost. This subscription is simply intended to support me without any real compensation. You will have early access to YouTube videos, like 2 or 3 days before the release. You can vote on future tutorials topics about the 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗦𝗥𝗘𝗦 game or really others videos. And if you join the Discord, you will have a special vote. You will later have access to an 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗦𝗥𝗘𝗦 to be able to test, and the VFX resources for the 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗦𝗥𝗘𝗦 game. So, thank you guys, see you later, see you next episode, bye bye.